Not long ago I made a video recapping my first year on YouTube. In that video I mentioned my advice for those who are starting out: instead of searching for tricks on how to succeed on YouTube, just focus on filmmaking basics such as storytelling, filming and editing. I also mentioned that this is my focus right now, to get better at those three things. One aspect of video editing that I really struggle with is color grading. It's funny how I can easily color grade my raw images but struggle with color grading my video footage. Anyway, I always had the thought in the back of my mind that I need to improve my color grading. While trying some new things here and there, I received an email from Dehancer asking whether I would be interested in reviewing one of their products. They offer plugins for photo and video editing, and I believe they even have an iPhone app now. My eye caught their video plugins because they include some film profiles that help you color grade your footage much easier. So I agreed to test the Dehancer Pro plugin for my Adobe Premiere Pro to see whether it is any good and would it help me color grade my footage faster and easier. If you edit your videos in Davinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, don't worry, Dehancer works with those video editing apps too. By the way, I am not a professional video editor or color grader, so my review will be made through the casual YouTube creator's eyes. And with that being said, let's jump into this review. Okay, so what do we have here? I shot some footage in Old Town of my city using my Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II. I thought I shot in 4K, but actually it has been just full HD video. But anyway, that's not a problem, and I put together a little bit of ambient views of my old town, and now I want to edit it and color grade. I haven't done anything yet, so I will just create an adjustment layer because I really like to color grade with adjustment layers, simply because when you have adjustment layer you can like stretch it throughout all timeline, and if you shoot something in the same scene, like this shot and this shot was made in one location, and also this shot, so I don't need to edit each shot separately. I can just use adjustment layer and edit everything the same, so all three shots would match. Then, for example, if another shot is from different location and is a little bit different, then I can just cut my adjustment layer and make some adjustments here, or I can keep the same adjustment layer and make adjustments right here. Just before I will start with the Dehancer, I just made some basic corrections here in color section of Premiere Pro, just to try and match everything in white balance and stuff, so when I will show you how the Dehancer works, the shots would match better between themselves. So I have adjustment layer created. Now I need to go to Effects panel and type in Dehancer. So I have here Dehancer Pro version 2.1. I apply it to adjustment layer, and now here under Effects Control panel you can see all the list options that Dehancer provides you. Now it applied some film simulation, film profile. I will turn it off at the moment, and then we'll go through one by one. So we have here lots of options to edit, and it's a pro version. There is smaller versions of plugins, so you can go to their website and take a look, and if you decide to purchase anything from them, you can use my code to get a 10% discount, and also I will link in description below, so take a look, and I hope this code will help you save some money. Okay, so the first section we will take a look at is input. Here you have to mention what footage do you use. For example, you can use just generic Rec 709 standard profile, but if you use log profile or something other, you can press here choose camera, and under the camera section you can find lots of camera profiles starting from iPhone profiles, then there is Blackmagic, Canon profiles, R5 or 6, with different logs options as well. Then there is few Fujifilm footages, X-T3 F-log, for example. I didn't shoot in F-log, I just shot simple footage, but if I would shoot with log settings on my Fujifilm, I would be able to pick this one and it would adjust everything. Then there is Sony profiles as well, so plenty of options to choose, but for now I will stick to the original setting, Rec 709. Here you can also adjust temperature compensation if you need to. Like, you don't need to go to that section limit to color in Adobe Premiere. You can do lots of stuff right here in the Dehancer panel. Okay, next section is film developer, and here you can notice at the bottom you will find that there is a option to enable or disable. If you start to tinker sliders and you see that nothing happens, because you haven't turned it on. So before changing anything, you need to check if it's enabled. And here you can control contrast and other things such as gamma correction, color separation, and color boost, which is just a saturation. Okay, but that was just simple corrections, and now we are going to explore film section. Here again, I need to enable it, and now I can start choosing from plenty of profiles. You can see there is a lots of profiles. Some are color, some are black and white, and you can just scroll through them and see what options do you like. There are lots of options that I just basically don't know, but there is few options that I do know. For example, Kodak Gold 200, it's like film stock that I use also. Kodak Color Plus 200 as well, I don't know that. Kodak Portra 400, 800. So there is some options from film photography that you might know. Okay, and now I will scroll through some options and see what I like best. Okay, at the moment I like two options. First one is Kodak Ultra Max 400, which is also a film stock that I do know, and other one is Kodak Vision 3 200T. This one I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. I think I will stick with Kodak Ultra Max 400 at the moment. And now I can turn it off and on, and you will be able to see the difference. And also I can check on other scenes that I shot to see whether I like this film profile or not. Okay, so I will close the film section right now. Film compression I didn't explore yet, but here you can also control some whites of your footage. Adjust to blow them out. It's just other options to edit your contrast, intensity of lights and stuff. Expand is the same. You can control black point here, white point as well. So this plugin does give you lots of options to work with. Here you can adjust also print effects if you want. Also you can find here like color adjustments, yellow, blue, magenta, green, cyan, red, shadow tones, midtones, highlights. So everything that you would find here, like this color wheels, you have it right here. And if you need, you can change it, but first of all you need to enable it. And you can see I can add more green or magenta, and I can control shadows. I can make them more warmer or colder. Then same with midtones. For example, I will keep it a bit warmer here, and highlights, I will keep them at 0, or maybe it is too warm now. I will go back a little and maybe even try to do some adjustments in other way. But again, you can do the basic adjustments for the whole video, and then you can add that plugin to each bit of footage that you need to edit further and edit it separately. Okay, let's see what do we have here. Film grain. It's a very fun stuff over here. I will now turn it off because when I applied this plugin, it was turned on, and I will zoom my footage so you would be able also to see what this option does. Okay, I will enable now my film grain, and you can see on the screen the grain appeared. Like if I play back it without grain, and now I will turn on the grain, and it looks like that. And if I will zoom out, you can see that there is a grain that adds a little touch to the footage. I really like this option. I will now zoom in again and will show you that here you can choose from plenty of options: 8mm, 16mm, 35mm, 65mm at different ISO. As higher ISO, as bigger your grain will be, and also depending on the millimeters. Like 65mm will give you the smallest grain, and 8mm will give you the biggest grain, and combined with ISO 500, you can see that footage almost disappeared and there is only almost the grain that you can see. Maybe for some project I would use that, but I don't think that here it will be suitable. Maybe what, 35mm ISO 250. Let's check it zoomed in. Yeah, something like that, or maybe even smaller, 50 ISO. Yeah, I do like that. It looks nice and gives that a little bit touch of vintage look that everybody likes currently. Now what we do have here, halation. Let's check this out. I like this thing because it reminds me of chromatic aberrations, and if you want to give your footage that vintage look, halation is one of the options, because when you turn it on and you can see like here where the car is driving, I will zoom in right here, just look at the car's mirror. I will turn halation off and disappeared like the red chromatic aberrations that was here, and it gives that a little subtle touch of vintage footage. You can see it here where the lights, and here everywhere where is some whites you will find halation. And here on this section you can choose the size of the halation, and to demonstrate you better I will enable the mask, and you can see where is now halation applied. Everywhere where you see red is halation being on, and you can change the size of the halation as well. Now if I pick 8mm Super 8, you can see that even the building's wall became visible on the mask mode, and if I turn it off, you will see that here halation is really strong, especially here. Here you can see. So for me it's too much. It doesn't look realistic. Here it's even more exaggerated, and let's see 16mm, it's a bit less. And it is nice that Dehancer gives you options. You can choose if you want lots of halations, not very much, and also if you want to do it custom. You have plenty of options to customize it in which way you like. So you don't need to stick to those given options. You always can customize them to your taste. But for this video I will take a look either 35mm or 65. 65, I don't see much of those halations. Maybe I will stick to 35mm, or maybe no, because now here I see a lot of halation, and with 65mm I think it's more subtle. And if I play it back, you can see that in some places, like here, halation appears and also gives that vintage feel, combine it with film grain. Okay, I like this footage already. It looks nice, just like casual walk through Old Town, capturing some winter scenes. And now let's go check other option that called Bloom, that also gives you that vintage look effect. And if you can see, if I turn it on and off, you already can notice that it's like black mist filter on your lens, but you can do it after in Premiere Pro. Of course, it's not as realistic as if you would shoot it with a black mist filter attached to your lens, but still you can see here it does some changes to the scene. And also you have custom settings option. You can just adjust however you like, give it more, less and stuff. Or you can use pre-made options like 16mm, 35mm, 65mm and 8mm. 8mm is the strongest and 65mm is less strong. You can even make it less noticeable if you want. If 65mm option is too much for you, you still can play around and find that stage where is almost unnoticeable and gives a little slight touch to your footage. Nice. Okay, so basically what I like in this plugin is film profiles, halation, bloom effect, and also film grain. So those four I might go to use in this plugin. Then if you want, you can add film damage. So like it would show some scratches on your footage. But I think it's more specific effect. Not every footage will need it. So I haven't used it yet, but you can see also you can choose a subtle film damage effect or custom also is an option. You can customize it however you like. Okay, you can do vignette, which is pretty obvious what it does. Film breath, another thing I want to show you, but I will turn off film damage for now because I don't need it in this video. But film breath, what film breath does, it gives effect to the video that it would look like that it's shot on film. I will show you right now what I mean. I will put it in 8mm and will enable, and I need to play the footage, and you can see the colors are jumping. So the film breath does that. So it looks like each slide of film was a bit damaged and processed in different way. So it has that effect, but 8mm is too strong effect. I wouldn't advise to use it, but 16mm, 35mm is more subtle. Again, I will play from the beginning. And you can see the jumps of colors are more subtle, and at 65mm I can't even notice that. Oh, I see them, but it is really subtle. And also the other one I want to show you is gate wave. I believe it gives that a little slight crop to the video, but in return it gives that a slight movements to each shot. Unfortunately, I shot handheld with optical stabilized lens, so my footage already was a bit shaking, but here you can see at 8mm setting the footage is shaky compared if I turn it off. Okay, here I'm shaking. So yeah, gate wave just give you an option to add some shake to your footage, subtle shake. And also here LUT generator, you can save your settings and just use them on other footage. If you, for example, like me, shooting videos for YouTube at home and the same space, you can edit your footage once and then just export settings and then reuse them. So yeah, and let's see how it was before and after. And I will play it along, showing you it here how it looked like before and after. So definitely Dehancer did a good job. It made footage feel more vintage, that it wasn't shot like recently, but I would say like 15 years ago. And I like that effect. That vintage look is now very popular. So Dehancer did a really good job here. And what I like about that it saves lots of time. You don't need to tinker everything here. You just have all you need, all the settings under one panel. You just bam, made an adjustment and you're good to go. You can even save them and reuse later as a preset. Okay, so what are my thoughts about this Dehancer video plugin? Well, first of all, is it helpful? Yes, definitely. There are a bunch of film profiles that you can choose from. I'm not a big film expert, but I found some film profiles that I know from film photography. So it is nice to get an option to achieve a similar look with video footage. I like that you can edit footage no matter if it's shot in log or not. I just wish they would add more camera profiles such as Fujifilm or GoPro. Speaking of GoPro, I used this plugin to edit my POV footage from Greece and it did a really good job. I always thought that footage from GoPro looks too sterile, too modern with that wide angle. But with Dehancer, I was able to achieve more vintage look that would better match images that have been showcased in that video. Now let's talk about some things I wish could be better. As I mentioned, I hope in the future developers would add more camera profiles. Then I don't know if it's possible, but I wish there was a more visually pleasing interface instead of just a list with all the options. It looks a bit boring. But again, I don't know if it's possible to implement another interface design, especially when they make this plugin not only for Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's talk about the biggest issue for me, and that's the price. I definitely wouldn't call the price affordable, so you really have to think through whether you would find a use for this plugin or not. If you shoot weddings or have other consistent editing work, then this price shouldn't scare you much, because over time it would save you so much time and provide an additional options for your video editing. It's a good thing that you can choose from a few months subscription to 1 year or even a lifetime. And there's also a free trial period, so everyone can try it out and see if they would have use for that plugin or not. Another thing is, if you don't need the Dehancer Pro plugin package with all included, you can choose separate plugins such as Dehancer Light or Dehancer Grain, Bloom, Breath, Halation if you need just one option without the rest, and Dehancer gives you this option. In conclusion, it is a really useful plugin that gives you plenty of options to edit your video footage. It provides camera profiles, other editing options, as well as some stylized ones too. I can't say if this plugin would be useful for professional color graders and video editors, but for those that are starting out and learning like me, this plugin would be a really useful addition to the video editing set. The price is a bit too high in my opinion, but if you consider purchasing this plugin, you can use my code to get a 10% off. I hope this will make the price a little less scary. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe so I could see you in the next one, but for now, have a nice day and keep shooting.